Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Fahrbach. More than 40 ballistic missiles and 125 drones were launched at Ukraine over the weekend in one of Russia's largest aerial attacks of the war. At the same time, a Russian strike on a civilian cargo ship carrying grain in the Black Sea has killed 10 crew members. As Kyiv calls urgently for more air defense and expands its own long-range drone campaign inside Russia, we're now joined to discuss the latest with Stepan Rusyn, Program Coordinator, German-Ukrainian Partnership, Transatlantic Dialogue Center. Good to have you back with us.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
Stepan, let's go to the Black Sea first. We're hearing that this internationally flagged cargo ship carrying grain was hit. There are, at this point in time, already 10 casualties confirmed that might rise in the future. We've seen condemnation. I mean, this reminds us of a few years ago when Russia also attacked the grain and food corridor there. Is this now again opening up, and what signal is Russia sending here?
It's first of all, a reply from the Russian side towards the Ukrainian campaign against the sanctioned tanker fleet in the Black and Azov Seas that Ukraine has been carrying out over the past 3 weeks. This is also the message to Ukraine and to the Western countries that Russia can escalate in the maritime domain as well, and that it can be interpreted also as a sign that it would be better for Ukraine from the point of view of Ukraine's grain export, also to hold back and return to the status quo that existed before the previous months, I guess.
And also, talking about the maritime domain, I mean, this is something unfortunately we've seen before. Now with these kind of strikes on civilian cargo ships, we've had also stray drones as well into Romania as well. So, I mean, how much of a danger is this that this could have more, let's say, widening expansion and more attacks that might even hit NATO country nations like Romania?
The danger is rising. The Ukrainian calculus was that if we show to the Russians that we can get them in some areas that they do not expect, that will motivate the Russians to be open to negotiations and to ending the war. But from what we have been seeing over the past months with the attacks on civilians in Kyiv, with attacks against civilian vessels, the answer from the Russian side is more escalation. So they still believe that Ukraine does not have enough stamina, enough of resources to hold out more than Russia can, so that they are doubling down on their efforts with the terror against civilians to put pressure on Ukrainians. And as far as I understand, they hope that in the end this will make Ukraine accept Russians' conditions.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, as you just mentioned, that pressure, but it's really from both sides. I mean, it's increasing this tit for tat. Russia does one thing, Ukraine responds. You mentioned those attacks also by the Ukrainians in terms of the maritime in the Sea of Azov and also in the Black Sea. So could we see now, as a response, potentially more of this hitting the Shadow Fleet or other Russian maritime assets?
I'm not sure if we will be able to see more. As of now, close to 150 vessels have been already targeted in the Azov and Black Sea. And as of now, there are almost no ships left. They all are not anymore in this area of operations of the Ukrainian armed forces. So I guess in the next days there will be less of those ships, and maybe there will be some kind of efforts to roll the situation back, given that Russians don't have the fleet in that area anymore. But it's, as of now, difficult to predict. But as I saw today in the morning, there was a big pack of the Russian ships near the Kerch Strait just maybe a week ago with 70 or so vessels. As of now, there are only 6 vessels left. So this campaign has its effect.
Yeah, and I think also, I think good to remind our viewers, I mean, it's the Black Sea where Ukraine really has begun to show, and already ever since the start of the war, a lot of success in damaging the Russian fleet, sinking key vessels with limited resources. So, but also let's stretch that out to the connection to the front line at the moment. That's been grinding on. At the same time, Russia has not been able really to move forward, but there's still many losses on both sides. How do we also view this? Is this a response to, let's say, a stalemate for Russia there? And we're hearing also reports that potentially Russia might even send up to 500,000, maybe more, troops in the next coming weeks or months to the front line. How realistic is that? How much would that change the battlefield?
As of now, the Russians don't have the potential to organize any breakthrough on the front line. So if we rely on the Ukrainian governmental sources, over the past 2 months, actually Ukrainian forces managed to liberate more territories than Russians managed to capture. And most likely this trend will continue, and Russians really face manpower problems, given that they are able to recruit a bit less than they lose on the battlefield as dead and heavily wounded. So the only option where Russians can change the situation in their favor is the start of the mobilization as it used to be in September 2022. But Ukrainian expectations are that they will be able to announce it only after the elections to the Russian parliament that are supposed to happen in September. So only after this, if this decision is taken and Russians will be able to start this mobilization, it will also take them a few months till they will be able to recruit this amount of people that you have mentioned, and also to arm them, to train them, and equip them. Although we all know the level of training that the Russian soldiers get, but it will not be an immediate effect. So it can be seen on the battlefield maybe closer to winter, and only in that case if Ukrainians don't find countermeasures either via using more technologically advanced ways of stopping Russians with unmanned systems, or if Ukraine answers symmetrically with also stepping up mobilization process in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think also, as you said, I mean, this is something Ukraine has been holding on very resiliently, no matter what Russia does. I want to ask you also, let's go back to the military for a moment, but also on the domestic level in Ukraine. I mean, we've seen also continued protests in Kyiv about the removal of the defense minister, Ms. Fedorov, by President Zelensky, that government reshuffle as well. I mean, why does this resonate so much to Ukrainians on the street? Where do you see this thing going?
Ukrainians are mostly upset by the lack of communication on the side of the Ukrainian president and the government. The former Minister of Defense Fedorov, he was highly regarded among the Ukrainians for his achievements in the digital sphere, and there were high hopes that he will be able also to make Ukrainian armed forces more technologically advanced. And there was no proper communication on the side of the Ukrainian president why he dismissed Fedorov. So what did he do wrong? And this approach of not letting people know why this or those decisions are taken is basically one of the main drivers, which is now also have dimension related to the chief of staff, the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian armed forces, as Zelensky, following this public discontent, said that the main reason was that Minister of Defense could not find a common language with the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian armed forces, and that Zelensky decided that it will be easier to dismiss the Minister of Defense than to dismiss his generals. And now this protest also has a dimension that people want a change in the military leadership, change of the commander-in-chief, and this is mostly related to the recent scandals in some some of Ukrainian military units where the mobilized soldiers were not treated the way they should have been treated, and the Ukrainian civil society demands responsibility by the military commanders and demands decisions on the people that will lead the army in the future, so that Ukrainians that are mobilized to the Ukrainian army, they know that they will be treated in a proper way. And then when some problem arises, there is always a political decision in the end to keep the military commanders accountable.
Mm-hmm. And I know we're conscious of time. Just a really quick sentence from you as well. I mean, relations with allies are key and important. Poland and Ukraine have had some tough patches recently. How do you see these two countries moving forward in terms of that relationship?
I hope that as of now, there will be no escalatory decisions on both sides. Recently, I guess it was yesterday, Zelensky announced that he will open the archives of the Ukrainian secret services relating to the Volhynia in 1943, and also that the new exhumations on the Ukrainian territory will start. So the Ukrainian government now tries to show conciliatory steps that hopefully will be reciprocated by the Polish side and will move the current discussion from the political side to more scientific historian discourse, which will, as Ukrainians hope, discharge the situation and give the political dimension more of future determined vision, how we as both countries can build our common future and focus on security, on economic cooperation and other more important for today issues.
All right, so thanks for all that. Many threads there and topics. Really appreciate all your input. As always, Stepan Rusyn there from the Transatlantic Dialogue Center. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching World Talks, but stay right here on TVP World for more. Goodbye.